Hello, guys. How are you doing? Okay, so today, the second and third respondent, as well as the fourth respondent in the LP case, they have actually closed their case. In fact, for the fourth respondent, they closed their case without opening it, which is in the person of the APC. This same thing played out in the PDP case. The second and third respondent, they actually opened their case today and closed it with only one witness. And the fourth respondent closed their case before opening it. Well, and there is something about this relationship between the cross-examination for the LP case and the cross-examination for the PDP case. First of all, let's give some bozas to our very own Dr. Levi Uzoku, lead counsel for the LP. He is with all of these degrees: LLB, LLM, LLD, OOD, SAN, which was conferred on him in 1999. Yes, you heard me. He's a publisher, he's a writer as well. And also, let us give some bozas as well to our very own Eyitayo Jegede, who was the lead counsel for the PDP and led the cross-examination session for the only witness that was called. Do you want to understand what all these are all about? By the way, yes, I'm holding drinks. Yes. Someone was saying, what about your bar? We haven't seen your bar in a long time. Well, it's midweek. It's midweek. We're not doing anything like that. You need to be properly guided. However, if you want some drinks, pop in the comment section. Let's go. Let's have some fun because the gist is hot. I'll be reporting not about LP alone, but also with reference to the PDP. Join me, guys. It's hot. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so guys, yeah, I see a lot of people sharing my post. Thank you so much. And yeah, if you've just tuned in, if you're just joining me for the first time, this is Obehi and the Lore. And if you have been here following me back to back, thank you so much. You guys are the real MVP. Thank you. I love you guys. God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, like I said, it was really hot today. And it's quite strange. And somebody made a statement, guys, and I've been thinking about that statement, and I don't want to forget. That's what I'm going to say here and now. Is it that Tinubu wants to go through another route? That's why they're just, the lawyers are just misbehaving like, oh, even if the court rules, we're not going to leave. Is that what is going to happen? Because I don't understand. I'm a bit, because like I said earlier, all eyes are on the judiciary. It is the judiciary that is on trial. Because a lot of persons are saying, oh, they have been bought because they've increased their salaries and everything else. Guys, I don't know, but somebody made that statement and I was like, I know he's surrounded by a lot of Agberus, but it's just funny that none of these Agberus came to court to come and defend their master. Nobody is willing to stand before the almighty LP to, put their case forward, even before PDP. Because I must say this, Eyitayo did a good job today. I salute you, sir. That was really brave and intelligent. But I want to just draw your mind to some of the relationship or the connection between these two cases. But before I do that, I will just give you a briefing on what happened with the LP case. Move on to PDP and then we draw the inference. Dr. Levi Uzoku was, who is the lead counsel for LP, was the one who did the cross-examination. Remember, yesterday was Ikwetu San, so today it was Dr. Levi Uzoku San. He did the cross-examination for LP. Now, they brought only one witness, which is the second and third respondent. They brought just one witness in the person of Senator Michael Okpeyemi. He came to court to give his own part of the story. Now, he's a lawmaker and then he claimed to be a lawyer. Now, I'm saying this because you didn't bring your license to practice. You say you are a US legal practitioner, but you did not bring anything to show that you're a US legal practitioner. I don't understand how that makes sense, but that was what happened. So he came with a complimentary card from the American Bar. And that American Bar is a voluntary organization. And one thing you should know is it's only in Nigeria that they'll tell you for you to be able to, be a lawyer, or for you to be said to be a barrister of the Supreme Court, you must have done your undergraduate as a lawyer. Like, you must have gone through school as a lawyer, and then you must have gone to law school, of course, passed the exams, and then you'll be called. But in all of the places that I know, for example, in the United States, in the United Kingdom, you don't necessarily have to have done your undergraduate degree as a lawyer. It's not compulsory. Yeah, it's not compulsory. You could decide to, any course at all, just take the exams. The only good thing is, if you are a lawyer, there are some things that will be scrapped off for you, when you want to finally be acclaimed a lawyer in these places, or and it's separate. In Nigeria, you have a barrister and a solicitor, but in these places, it's either you're a barrister or you're a solicitor. You can never be both. It's impossible for you to be both, so that is it from the description. Now, I know one thing for sure for United States, it's so big, so you are not allowed to practice outside of your jurisdiction. Now, when I mean jurisdiction, outside of your state. For example, if you're taking the New York bar, you cannot come to Texas to practice. You cannot practice in California. You have to practice in Texas for like 5 years before you are allowed to move around. I think you will still take some preliminary exams to allow you to be able to practice in these regions. But you're saying American bar, like, it's all encompassing. You should be able to bring a license that distinguishes you as a person who is practicing here. So he couldn't really produce that. He gave us complimentary card, which was even funny. But the court still admitted it. And I'm sure, they will talk about it. But back to the case. So Dr. Levi Uzoku was testing the microphone like he was ready for violence. I don't even know whether they invited him to violence headquarters, because I don't understand. The guy was, so good. So he started by, he now showed him the EU report. Remember that EU report, I said I was going to do a video on that, I will still do that. It's just that it's not easy, no time. Now, the EU report talked about the fact that the results were not uploaded onto IREV. The results were not readable, which means they were blurry, and they were not uploaded onto IREV. It was, I think, a particular paragraph there, paragraph 60 or so, and then he showed him, said, look at this paragraph, read it, the EU report. The witness was looking at it like, but so he now told him that, okay, fine, if you don't agree with the EU reports, based on the fact that, of course, it does not, they admitted in evidence the ECOWAS report. Now, I'll give you a short history. You know very well that ECOWAS, even though they say West Africa, blah, 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 it is funded, heavily funded by Nigeria. So definitely, even though the report was signed, the ECOWAS report, because they said earlier in the case that they were going to be relying on both international and local observers. And these people would write. Now, EU is an international observer. They came up with their reports in which they discredited everything that had to do with the elections, that it was not free and fair as proposed. So even the ECOWAS one, and we had two African observers, in quotes. We had Nepal, and of course we had ECOWAS. But the respondents, they chose only ECOWAS to bring, which is not a problem. So Dr. Levi Uzoku now told him, okay, fine, you've given me ECOWAS. So look at paragraph 17. Read it for me. And paragraph 17 stated that there was violence such that even an LP senatorial candidate was killed. Do you know what he responded, the witness? The witness said, oh, it's IPOB. And I said, the areas where this violence happened, this electoral violence, included Kano. So we still had IPOB in Kano. Now, the report that was admitted, they admitted in evidence. Don't forget that the ECOWAS report was one of the only documents, or one of the few documents that the respondents had brought. Now, you are now saying, because they tendered that report through, you are now saying that that report is not part of it. Like, I no longer agree. It just takes me back to when INEC, they were opposing the CTC copies that they gave to the LP. Like, we object, and we would you advance our reasons in our written address. See that written address, go hot God I beg you. So the witness now was saying, I don't agree to this particular, but you were the one that brought this report. So the man now went, so of course, Dr. Levi now told him, even you yourself, like you are not a lawyer. Where is your Illinois practice code or your license? And he was like, it's not that. He was trying to explain to the court, you know. So he now said, okay, fine. Since you claim that you're a lawyer, now the $450,000 forfeiture fine that was paid, you know, with regards to Tinubu's purported narcotic drug trafficking issue, how do you see that? You know, he was trying to confirm from me, and he was like, it was not a criminal forfeiture, it was a civil forfeiture. So that simply means that you are agreeing, because the lawyers are actually, like the respondents are actually stating that, oh, there was nothing like that. There was nothing like that. This man was not convicted by an American court. Now you are not saying that it is not a criminal. You know, he's not trying to make them understand that I actually studied law, but at the same time, you are rubbishing the case for your own people, which is the respondents, by stating that, oh, it is section 982. It's not section or section this. It's not this. And it was not a criminal forfeiture. It was a civil forfeiture. That simply means that you are establishing that there was actually a matter on narcotics, drug trafficking against Tinubu. You see now, then going forward, Dr. Levi, guys, it was the way he was laughing in court, honestly. Like, he was laughing like, oh, you guys brought someone, but I don't even understand. The person will not bring, like, I don't understand what this guy is doing. He's literally destroying. If there was any foundation that you guys had laid, he's actually destroying it. So Dr. Levi Uzoku continued. Then, guys, before Dr. Levi Uzoku could even talk, Olanipekun Sam was already very upset, and he was on his feet and was like, which particular document are you trying to tender before the court? They've already tendered that EU document before the court. Why are you tendering it again? The man is already confused, because the EU report was actually tendered by the PDP and not by LP. So the court was like, no, that is in another case. He said, no, my lord. I said, it was in PDP case. So that was when I said, oh, okay, sorry, my lord. Because Baba was already confused, and I can understand, because the truth is this, I hate to say this in public, but the case is a bad case. Why? Because Nigeria has over time grown to swallow whatever pill they've been given. But the pain is, unfortunately, this time it's different, because it's another person who will not take no for an answer. You understand? Nigeria just feels, don't worry, just once you announce the winner, everybody go rest. But it's obvious that Okute, Peter Obi, is not resting anytime soon. That man is hell-bent on taking back what belongs to him. He claims his mandate has been stolen, and he's going to every length to prove. So because their tracks were not properly covered, it's a big problem now in covering the tracks, because everything is out in the open. No one is even willing to come to court to come and testify. Anyway, let me not waste your time on that. Let's move over now to PDP case, and then I will draw the inference between the cross-examination for the PDP and the cross-examination for LP. I'll tell you that these people, they are somehow working together, because 20 minutes is not enough time for them to do justice, especially when you now have only one witness being called. It's not enough time for them to do. So some persons are asking questions relating to this area. Some others are asking, and I'm going to prove it to you. Follow me. Is now that this has happened for the LP, the next stage is the filing of that written address, that hot written address that they kept saying, oh, we are going to advance our argument in our written address. So now the respondents, they each have 10 days to file their written address. And then the petitioners, in the person of the LP and Peter Obi, they have 7 days to reply. And they have 5 days to file that reply, and then the court would meet. So now we have 2 more meetings: adoption of the written addresses and the judgment day. So that's what we're waiting for, and it's coming earlier than expected. So that's fine by them. That's for the LP case. And one other thing is that document that they brought about the because They did some adoption, some admitting of some documents today in court. That's I'm talking about the second respondent. They did the admitting of some documents, for example, visas by Tinubu, then the purported certificates of the university he went to in Chicago. Then they brought an interesting letter, documents of the LP party, the list of the registration of the LP party in terms of Anambra branch, where Peter Obi belonged to, and the letter that was sent to INEC, I think, stating the fact that they want Peter Obi to be their flag bearer, blah, blah, blah. So it's interesting. Maybe they're trying to equally talk about dates, but let me just jump in quickly to PDP's case. We will see a lot when the reply comes in, because I looked at that letter and I was like, are you trying to, play on the part of technicalities? I'm sure a particular ruling had come up to say it was not even important. I can't remember that particular case, but I know I've treated it in one of my videos. So let me just spare you that detail for now. Now, going on, let's discuss what happened in the afternoon at the PEPC. Now, it is the election petition court, not necessarily a tribunal. That's why you see that all of them are robed in court. For tribunal, you don't necessarily need to be robed, but for court sessions, you as a lawyer, you have to be robed, except, and most times it's always out of court if it is an arbitration matter. Of course, you're trying to not give them the idea that we are in a court setting, but I don't want to. Let's just go over to PDP's case. So now for PDP, the same person was called, Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, was called again by the second and third respondents, Tinubu and Shettima, and they called him, and he was their only witness again in the afternoon. So now the person of Eitayo Jegede for the petitioner, and I'm talking about PDP now, he was the one to cross-examine the witness that came on board. Now, you would notice that the questions that were asked, I'll come there, they were different from the one that was asked in the morning. For example, double nomination. That's the case for PDP, but that's not happening. The case for LP, but that was not happening in the afternoon. It was more or less like for fraud. That's how they were suing Shettima. And again, looking at the Shettima was not even a party to PDP's petition, but Shettima is a party for LPK. So you can see the differences. Now look at the cross-examination. Now they now came from the angle of 25%. And Eitayo was asking him, like I said, I'm just going to give a summary because it's sweet to just read stuff. But so Eitayo was asking him, Eitayo-san, he said, are you aware that your candidate did not score up to 25%? And he was like, he did not need to score. So he is a lawmaker. Don't forget that Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele is a lawmaker. So he was coming to now tell us how to interpret section 134 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which talks about the fact that the president must have majority of the votes, at least 1/4 of the votes in each state for 2/3 of all the states in the federation. 2/3 of that 36 states and the FCT. So he now told him that, are you aware that the president before the second respondent, which is Tinubu, scored 25%? Said yes. Even Yaradua scored 25%. Even Goodluck, let me add, scored. Even Obasanjo scored 25%. So are you aware that it's only Tinubu that did not make up to 25%? And it was like, that was not the intention. So what's the intention? So the law would have to change all of a sudden because of one man? Do you understand, guys? That was not even oil. And I told him that, are you aware too that for the people that even contested, it was only Tinubu that did not even get majority of the votes from his home state. Lagos, he was not, the majority, was Peter Obi, with a resounding dirty slap of over 800,000 votes, much more than Tinubu. I think Tinubu had like 100,000 plus. Which is an insult. Nobody wants you. With what I'm seeing, I'm trying to be very, very liberal in, reporting. But he asked him, and he was like, yeah, Tinubu had 19.6% in the FCT. And mind you, I hope you know that they have gone to appeal. That's the people of Abuja on the matter of 25%, they have gone to appeal that matter. The matter is in court at the moment. And then they now went over to talk about the newspaper, Vanguard newspaper, in which APC had stated that they did not want beavers to be used in the election. And you know that beavers was not used, right? Beavers was not used. They were opposing the use of beavers. And at that point, Eitayo, Jegede's son, sought to admit that as evidence. So now this clearly shows that it doesn't mean that if you have closed your case, you cannot admit a particular document in evidence, but it will be done during cross-examination, and it must be in tandem with whatever is going on. Like, it has to be related or linked to the matter in question for you to say, okay, I'm tendering that. So they tender that evidence to show that APC right from the word go did not approve of beavers. And these same beavers, you people scammed EU, collected money from them because they sponsored beavers, and you never used it. You see the way the matter be now, guys. As in, it's just sad and funny. Like I said, I'm breaking it down for you so you can understand where, these persons are going to. And then, Eitayo was trying to ask a question that when was that letter? The letter of, Shetima was supposed to contest for a senatorial position. And then when he saw vice president, this is really better. So they're like, when was the letter of withdrawal? When was it received by INEC? Because the truth is this, you can sit in your house and draft a letter, but that letter will not be deemed to have been received by the other party until the letter is actually received by the other party. For example, you could draft a subpoena. The subpoena will be dated a particular date, but that reception date is very important, that person, the other party, has received it. So the court cannot change. Like I said earlier, it is the court that is on trial. Because even if Shetima had dated that letter within time, when did INEC actually receive that letter? But I think in a way, the question was somehow bluffed, but I'm sure in their written addresses or in their replies, the petitioners' replies, they would, tackle that. When was it received by INEC? If it was past the due date, then we cannot say that that letter was within time. That letter of withdrawal from the senatorial race by Shetima was within time. So that was equally another issue, guys. So it was really, really, and of course, coming to the end of that case, they told the respondents they have 10 days, just like what happened in the morning, 10 days to file their written address, and then the petitioners have 7 days to reply the written addresses of the respondents, and then 5 days to file these responses, and then the court will announce a date for adoption of the written addresses and a date for judgment, which will definitely be sometime in August, maybe earlier than planned, because this one, everybody, to the fact that APC equally closed their case, because somebody said that he was in court, and there was this argument between INEC and the respondent and the witness that was called yesterday, the pastor that was called yesterday. There was some sort of argument about him not being called. But my own is this: APC is funny. You did not submit anything. You're just relying on the other people. Like, are you serious right now? Because the truth is this: your reputation is at stake. People are looking up to you. It's okay, I'm going to call this lawyer for my next case. Whether you like it or not, LP, they've made a name for themselves with this case. And whether you like it or not, even PDP's lawyer, especially Eitayo, Jegede's son, has made a name for himself with the cross-examination he did today. Then again, looking at the police reports, the lawyer had asked the witness, he said, this police report that you brought before the court, which is a response to a letter that was written, the reply from the US embassy, sorry, that you brought before us. Now, where is the letter that was written? And I think Leva Uzoku asked him, he said, does this letter or this reply, does it have anything to do with money laundering? Is it specific? Because they were trying to say, oh, Tinubu has been cleared, there's nothing to his name, he has done nothing, he's a good man. Now, it was asking Uzoku said, was there any specificity with regards to that letter? Nothing of that sort. to say, oh, in terms of money laundering, no way. In terms of narcotics, no way. And where is the letter that prompted the reply? Is it before the court? The witness said, no. So I don't know, but well, let's see how it goes. I don't want to waste our time with too many information about what happened, but these are just the highlights of what happened in court today. We are still going to wait. We're still going to be looking at other things. Section 134 can even be interpreted by you. You can read it. You don't need a lawmaker to come to court to come and interpret what it is. And trust me, if that guy had lied on oath, I'm referring to Senator Bamidele, he would definitely be punished. If he is not a lawyer in the US and you're claiming to be one, that's lying on oath, and that's punishable by law. It's really wrong. I don't know, but like I said, it is the judiciary that is on trial. So let's see where it leads us. For now, we're just going to wait for them to file their written addresses. Olanik Bekun is already very, very angry. Even yesterday, he was saying that, oh, I'm sure by the time I leave the court now, they'll start saying that he's running away. But you guys are running away, especially APC. So as a party, people cannot. So as Tinubu, a mighty man, a whole presido, you don't have people to come to court to come and testify. Why? Because everybody is afraid. So that nobody damages their own reputation in the name of someone else. Because trust me, the case is somehow. But let me not repeat myself. Like I said earlier, I gave you the distinction between the two. Now, did you notice that between the LP's cross-examination by Dr. Levi Uzoku and the cross-examination done by Eitayo Jegede-san, can you see that they came from different angles? Because 20 minutes is not enough. 20 minutes is not enough. So they had to come from different angles to be able to tackle these issues. They came from different angles. Well, let's see how it goes with regards to the replies and the final judgments. I know there's definitely going to be an appeal, but when they say Peter Obi is not called Okute for nothing, I'm sure even Ngige back then did better in terms of defense than this. That's why my first fear, like I said when I started this video, do they want to resort to violence? Like, we're not leaving even if the court has said we should leave, because it's just looking like the defense, they don't have anything to defend. The tracks were not properly covered because they thought it would be business as usual as in 2019, because whether you like it or not, Atiku Abubakar's mandate was stolen in 2019. Yeah, he was the one. That was the people's choice as at that time. Well, guys, anyway, let's see how it goes. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social media handles. Like I said, I'm going to be coming with some updates with regards to issues as they progress. Explaining the EU report, I'm going to do that sometime before the final address is presented in court and admitted in court. So watch out for my page. I'm going to be doing that. But for now, the case is closed. APC, they really made me, it was funny, like, we don't have anything. We are relying on everything else that has happened. Everything that's this. You've collected money, you've eaten the money, and you're not going to do anything about it. You're not going to help APC. And wow, some lawyers though, all the same. Well, it's that time of the year where people really eat money, you know, from the election petition. Let me use the word eat money in quotes, but we should just be careful because reputation is key. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And if you have questions for me, sorry, it's a long video, but I had to give update for both PDP and LP. That's why it's that long. But if you have any questions, have any concerns, just pop it in the comment section and I will answer. Bye.